Hello and welcome, my dear friend. If you're hearing this, heaven made sure you didn't scroll past it, because right now, God is short on willing hearts. Too many are talking, few are listening. Too many want to shine, but no one wants to stand in the fire that makes the light real. That's why He's sending you, dear chosen one. Not because you're flawless, because you're the most powerful He can use. You've carried truth quietly, like a secret you didn't know you were guarding. When doors closed, you didn't curse them. You waited until you heard His next instruction. That patience was your training. That restraint was your weapon. And now heaven has reached the part of the story where hesitation costs too much time. He's out of volunteers, so He's calling the ones who never planned to be heroes, only to be honest. Maybe lately you've felt restless. Ordinary routines don't fit anymore. The same dialogues sound thin. The same distractions taste dull. It's the Spirit pushing you out of the waiting room. God's been testing your reflexes. How quickly you forgive, how deeply you notice pain that isn't yours, how quietly you obey without applause. Those weren't random trials. They were drills for deployment. God was narrowing your path. You didn't know it then, but each disappointment was part of the construction. Many times it felt like a big no to your prayers, but it wasn't denial, it was design. The wide roads had too many exits, too many distractions. So He led you through the narrow one, the road where only obedience fits, because that's where His real ones are forged, not found. It's strange, isn't it? You're the same person, yet people see you differently. That's what happens when divine light finds a body. It cuts through the fog and makes everything around it recalibrate. You didn't change the volume. Heaven changed the wattage. This world has more platforms than prophets, more microphones than messages. So God's sending someone who doesn't care about spotlight, someone who's been shaped by solitude, someone who's learned that purpose isn't a performance, it's a pulse. That's why you've felt the pull at strange hours. Why you wake up with phrases that don't sound like your own thoughts. Why lately, peace only shows up when you move toward the thing that scares you most. It's not coincidence, it's a summons. Heaven has reached the edge of the roster, and your name is glowing. Not because you were the loudest candidate, but because you were the last one still listening. You are being sent into families that forgot how to love, into workplaces that suffocate truth, into friendships that need warmth and honesty again. Not to preach, to be. Because sometimes the loudest sermon is a steady life that refuses to rot in bitterness. So if everything around you feels unfamiliar, good. That's the sound of God shifting the stage. He's moving you where influence hides in plain sight. And the moment you say yes, heaven will move what needs moving around your obedience. Dear chosen one, here's the part almost everyone skips. They wait for a trumpet blast and miss the whisper that sounds like a calendar reminder. God rarely shouts. He nudges. He slides a note under the door of your morning. He lets a name float to the top of your mind while you're rinsing a plate. He puts a weight in your chest when you scroll past the very thing you were meant to build. That's the cue. Here is how a calling enters a Friday. You open the fridge and see the same leftover box you've been ignoring. You toss it, wipe the shelf, make room for something fresh. That motion isn't about food, it's about capacity. It's training your body to stop storing what's expired. You open the note in your phone where you keep the names you promised to pray for. You pick one. You send a voice message, not a paragraph. 30 seconds of your actual voice. I've been thinking of you. I'm here. Don't promise to fix their life. Offer your presence. Presence is the tool God trusts most. You make a list called What I'm Not Taking With Me. On it, the habit that steals your sleep, the joke you tell to make yourself small, the lunch that always leaves you uneasy. You don't need a ceremony. You need a trash bag and a reminder. This is what obedience looks like when nobody claps. It's paperwork, dishes, texts. It's choosing a different street so you don't pass the thing that keeps you looping back. It's water instead of numbness. It's putting the phone down before your peace pays the price. It's stepping outside for 5 minutes at midnight to let your pulse find the stars and remember you're held. You're going to feel awkward for a while. That's normal. New strength is loud inside before it's quiet outside. If your hands shake while you speak, speak anyway. If your voice wobbles when you pray, pray anyway. Courage isn't volume, it's repetition. Midweek, you may try to negotiate with yourself. Maybe I misheard. Maybe I should wait for a sign. Here's the truth. Your sign is that you can't unknow what you know. You can't pretend your eyes didn't adjust. Pretending used to be a room you could sleep in. Now it's a shirt with the tag still on, scratching your neck until you take it off. You're not bound to every promise you made while you were scared or exhausted. You're free to update your yes. That isn't betrayal, it's stewardship. God places hours in your hands and asks you to spend them like treasure, not loose change. People will notice. Some won't know what to do with it. They'll say, "You've changed." Smile. "I've grown." Then ask about their mother's health, their deadline, their dog. Calling doesn't make you less kind. It makes you precise about where kindness goes. And when that old ache flares, the one you carry in your shoulders or your jaw, place your hand there. Breathe. We're safe. The body keeps minutes the mind forgets. It will catch up to the news. We're not living on emergency anymore. You don't have to become someone else to carry this. Keep your laugh. Keep the odd metaphors. Keep noticing the quiet kid in the back row. That isn't extra. That's the instrument he picked. You'll be tempted to sprint. Don't. Sprinting is panic with better shoes. Walk like someone who knows the route, because you already know. Put anchors in your day, a verse on a sticky note, a 2-minute silence after lunch, one message you answer with your whole attention. When you look back, track the small reversals, not the fireworks. You stop chuckling at what used to hook you. You finish what you start. A text that once swallowed your afternoon barely nudges you now. That's not magic. That's spiritual adulthood under an open heaven. You may still wonder, what if I fail after all this? Listen, God didn't vet you in a week. He watched you for years. He saw you return the cart in the rain. He saw you delete the reply you could have used as a weapon. He saw you wheel the neighbor's bin back when nobody was filming. You called those moments small. Heaven calls them proof. This assignment fits the shoulders that carried groceries and grief at the same time. There will be moments you want to announce everything. Resist it. Build like a carpenter, not a town crier. Measure twice, cut once. Let finished work do the talking. The surest ta-da is a table that holds. When the next step isn't obvious, do the nearest kind thing. It keeps the line clear. Often, the instruction you're waiting for sits on the far side of a courtesy you almost skipped. You don't have to broadcast what's happening, but do mark it. Write the date on a page. This is when the quiet tug became orders. When the weather shifts again, and it will, you'll open that page and remember, we've sailed this water before. We know how to trim the sail. My dear friend, go back to the room in your memory that still aches. Don't dissect it. See yourself walk out of it with your head up, holding the one tool you earned there. It isn't a scar, it's equipment. And hear me, you're not required to rescue everyone to be faithful. You're not the emergency exit for every building that catches fire. Carry what he hands you today. That is enough, and enough is holy. When tomorrow morning comes, walk into it exactly as you are. Not louder, not smaller, just true. And when the moment appears, the email, the child who needs you, the meeting that tilts toward honesty, the stranger who hasn't been seen in years, don't rehearse. Answer, arrange the chairs, make the call, bring the order, offer the cup of water and your calm hands. That's how heaven sends people, not as celebrities, but as evidence. You were not spared to live on the back row of your own life. You were tempered for use, and now you know it. So go do the next right thing, clean as a bell, steady as a heartbeat. The world will feel it, yes. More importantly, you will. Not as fireworks, but as footsteps you can actually hear. This is how a yes becomes a life. This is how chosen ones move when God reaches the end of the list. He's sending you, not someday, not after one more sign, now. Thank you so much for taking this journey with me. If this message resonated, please like, share it with someone who might benefit, and subscribe to stay connected. Continue your awakening journey by choosing one of the videos on your screen that resonates with you the most. See you there. Hello and welcome, my dear friend. If you're here, it's because you've quietly realized you don't fit inside your old self anymore. When people hear final form, they picture wings, light, or something dramatic. Heaven's version is simpler and much harder to fake. Your final form is the version of you that stops lying, with your words, with your choices, and even with your body. For years, you've tried on different masks. The one who never says no, the one who never needs help, the one who laughs everything off, the one who doesn't care even when your chest was tight all night, but still cared for others at every ache. But none of them fit for long. They were costumes for survival, not outfits for destiny. Now God is doing something different. He's not asking you to become someone else. He's asking you to stop pretending you're still who you used to be. That's what final form looks like in real time. You say yes, and your shoulders don't tense up. You say no, and your stomach doesn't drop in panic. You walk away from a conversation, and your jaw isn't clenched for the next 3 hours, replaying what you should have said. Your body knows before your mind admits it. It tightens when you agree to things that drain you. It gets heavy when you stay in rooms that are wrong for you. It wakes you up at 3 a.m. on the nights you pretend you're fine. God is not only working in your spirit, He's been retraining your body itself. He's teaching your body to stop cooperating with what hurts you. Pay attention to the small things lately. You open your messages and don't rush to reply out of guilt. You stop typing "it's okay" when it actually wasn't. You change "no worries" to "thank you for letting me know," because you're done pretending everything is fine just to keep access. That's not attitude. That's God straightening your spine from the inside. You start ordering what you actually want when you eat, instead of what looks reasonable. You stop dressing to disappear, or dressing to impress, and catch yourself dressing to feel like yourself. You clean your place, not because someone is visiting, but because your own brain refuses to relax in a mess that doesn't match where you're headed. That's not aesthetic, that's identity. This is God revealing your final form. He's showing you what your life looks like when you stop negotiating against your own spirit. You notice you don't laugh at certain jokes anymore, not because you've become sensitive, but because your body literally goes still when cruelty is disguised as humor. You feel your chest tighten when the conversation shifts into gossip. You feel that small wave of nausea after you overshare with someone who hasn't earned that kind of access. Those reactions are not overthinking, they're feedback. It's how heaven teaches discernment in a language your body understands. You've been asking God to show you your calling. He's answering by showing you your pattern. Look at it. You're the one people come to when everything falls apart. You're the one who remembers details no one else caught. You're the one who can walk into chaos and quietly see the next sensible step. You call that just how I am. God calls it design. Final form is when you stop treating what He gave you as random personality and start seeing it as equipment. Go back through your history. The tension in the family before it exploded. The friend on the edge who just happened to call you that night. This isn't random at all. It's a pattern. Your final form isn't loud. It's accurate. God is revealing it by tightening your tolerances. You can't pretend you don't notice what you clearly see. You can't keep smiling through situations where your whole body is saying, "We're not okay here." You feel it, that little internal nope that arrives sooner now, earlier than before. That's not you becoming harsh. That's you refusing to betray what God wired into you. You've tried to be the easy one, the funny one, the quiet one, the strong one. But ultimate form is not a role. It's the same truth showing up in every area of your life. Watch how God is revealing it. You reread old journals and almost don't recognize the person who wrote them. Not because they were bad, but because their standards were low. They made themselves small so others could stay comfortable. Now, something in you cringes, not at them, but at the thought of going back. That cringe is holy. It means your mind and body agree. We're not living like that again. It's about living in a way that doesn't argue with what God already showed you. You know which environments drain you. You know which habits steal your sleep. You know which people leave you confused about yourself. This is when you stop calling all that complicated and start calling it what it is. Wrong for who you are now. You pause before agreeing. You don't jump to rescue as fast. You let people feel the results of their own choices without sprinting in as a shield. That's not coldness. That's God teaching you the difference between being loving and being used. And somewhere in the middle of all this, you're going to look in the mirror and realize you actually like who you're becoming. Not with arrogance, with quiet relief. I can live like this. This is sustainable. This is honest. That's your final form coming into focus. Not wings, not halos. A life that doesn't fight itself every day. God is not revealing some fantasy version of you. He's revealing the version that's been forming every time you told the truth, every time you walked away quietly instead of exploding, every time you chose rest over self-destruction. He saw all of that, and now he's holding up the mirror and saying, "This is you. You don't have to act anymore." Now, you're not waiting to transform, you're waking up to what's already changed. And from this point on, every decision either protects that or betrays it. That's what this message is about. Not hype, not a costume, just the courage to finally live as the person God has already finished shaping on the inside. Your final form isn't somewhere ahead of you. It's here. He's just making sure you finally feel it. In your mind, your spirit, and even your own skin. Here's what usually happens next, my dear friend. Once you start living closer to your final form, the world around you needs a minute to catch up. Your close ones who were used to the old version of you will feel it first. Not because you make an announcement, but because their usual ways of reaching you stop working. The friend who only calls when they're in crisis will notice you don't reply in 5 seconds anymore. The family member who uses guilt as a shortcut will feel the difference when you say, "I can't do that today," and then don't rush in to save it at the last minute. The person who expects you to always understand them, but never reflects on how they treat you, will be the first to say, "You've changed." They're not wrong. They just don't know how much it cost you to stay unchanged for that long. You don't need a speech. Most of the time, one sentence is enough. "I can't do that anymore. It doesn't feel right for me now. That doesn't work for me." You don't owe everyone a documentary of your healing. And it's not being cruel, you're still kind, it's in your nature. But now you are just kind, not nice, out of fear of losing people. See, God isn't revealing your final form so you can win arguments. He's revealing it so you stop abandoning yourself to keep the peace. You'll start seeing small, strange shifts. Plans fall through that you never had peace about. A job that drained you suddenly restructures or releases you. People you thought you needed just drift. It might sting at first. It might feel like loss. But if you're honest, your body will tell you the truth. Your shoulders drop. Your breathing deepens. Somewhere under the sadness is relief. I don't have to hold that anymore. This is God clearing what doesn't match who you've become. Not as punishment to them, but as protection for you. You're learning a new way to measure. Instead of asking, "Will they be upset if I don't?" you quietly ask, "What does this cost me if I do?" That's not selfishness. That's stewardship. He put breath, time, and energy in your hands. Final form is when you stop spending it like it's unlimited. You'll notice your standards changing without a big announcement. You'll stop chasing half-hearted responses. You'll stop explaining basic respect. You'll stop being flattered by attention that never turns into consistency. You're learning what your spirit, mind, and body can and cannot host anymore. And yes, some people will only remember the version of you that would bend until you were exhausted. Let them remember. You're not required to go back and prove you're still soft. You can be soft and firm in the same sentence. If someone says, "The old you would have do this or that," you can calmly reply, "I love who I was, but I'm not going back to the habits that hurt me." You are not dishonoring your past self by outgrowing their limits. They did the best they could with what they knew. This you knows more. And this doesn't mean you suddenly feel brave all the time. There will still be shaky hands, fast heartbeats, second thoughts. Do the right thing with shaky hands anyway. Say the true sentence with the fast heartbeat anyway. Courage in this stage isn't about feeling powerful all the time. It's about refusing to lie about what's real in front of you. You might have days when you wonder, am I being too harsh, too distant, too much? Here's a simple check-in. After the decision, do you feel cleaner inside or more tangled? Cleaner usually means you honored what God has been showing you. Tangled usually means you agreed to something your spirit never signed off on. You don't need a prophet to confirm every step. You can ask the God who lives in you, did this look like the person you're shaping me into? And then listen, not only with your feelings, but with your body, your thoughts, your sleep. He has many ways of saying, yes, keep going, or no, that's not it. You'll also notice something beautiful. You have more to give to the ones who are truly assigned to your life. The friend who shows up for you too, the child who feels safe with you, the person who respects your time and your no. Your presence lands deeper with them because it's no longer spread thin over everyone who demanded a piece of you. This is what God is after. A life where you can wake up, look at how you're living and say, it matches. What I say, I believe, what I feel in my body, what I allow in my space, they finally agree. And that agreement inside you is holy. You don't have to post about it. You don't have to announce your boundaries in a dramatic paragraph. Just live them. Final form is most powerful when it's quiet and consistent. And as you keep walking like this, don't be surprised if people say things like, there's something different about you, or I can't explain it, but you feel settled. They may not have the language for it. Heaven does. God calls it you stepping into the shape he always saw. Not famous, not flawless, just finally, fully you. Thank you so much for taking this journey with me. If this message resonated, please like, share it with someone who might benefit, and subscribe to stay connected. Continue your awakening journey by choosing one of the videos on your screen that resonates with you the most. See you there. Hello and welcome, my dear friend. Somewhere along the line, a big why showed up in your soul. Why it had to hurt like that. Why people you would have given everything for turned away so easily. Why every time you thought you were finally through the storm, another one appeared. But what if you were never being ignored or punished? What if you were being built perfectly? Chosen ones, hear me clearly. This isn't about random suffering. This is about sacred arrangement. God doesn't waste pain. He reuses it. Every hard time that made you question your worth, every silence that made you doubt your place in the world, every betrayal that broke your heart and trust, those weren't signs that God didn't see you or that you were in the wrong place. They were construction zones. You were under spiritual renovation, and heaven had the men at work sign up the whole time. Think back to the times you felt everything collapsing. You couldn't even breathe right. Your chest felt tight for reasons words couldn't explain. You'd wake up already exhausted, carrying 1,000 conversations in your head before you even got out of bed. And through all of that, God was quiet. That quiet wasn't neglect. It was God watching a soul bloom where everyone else would have broken. He was adjusting the frequency of your heart to handle the prophecy coming next. Because if he had answered every prayer you cried in those nights, you would have received blessings too fragile to last, too easy to take for granted. Chosen ones, some prayers have to mature before they arrive, and so do you. He was toughening your roots before showing your fruit. It's easy to admire a tree in summer when the leaves are full, but your winters are what made you unshakable. You learned how to pray when you didn't even have words left. You learned how to smile while bleeding internally. You learned how to stand back up when the ground beneath you was still moving. That's spiritual growth in action. You went through hard times to learn what's worth worrying about and what's not, what's real and what's okay to release. Here's something most people don't tell you. God doesn't only prepare blessings for you, He prepares you for blessings. And that's the part that hurts. Because even though you're worthy of all that you want, sometimes no visible change happens around you. He'll strip away the voices you relied on so that His becomes unmistakable. He'll push your hand off the cliff, not to watch you fall, but to remind you that you can fly. He'll let every imitation comfort fall apart, so when the real thing arrives, you don't confuse it with what once hurt you. You didn't lose control, you were being rerouted, and the road God put you on looked lonely because it was custom built for your calling. Imagine this, a sculptor standing before a raw block of marble. He doesn't apologize to the stone for every strike of the chisel. He knows exactly what he's freeing inside it. The marble might only feel the breaking, but the sculptor sees the masterpiece. That's what's been happening with you. Every loss, every ending, every long night you thought would never end, those were strikes of the divine chisel. God wasn't trying to destroy you. He was revealing the treasure that was hidden inside you all along. Chosen ones, what He's about to show you isn't new. It's been there. You're just about to see it with new eyes. And that's why you couldn't fit back into the old life once you changed, even for a second. That frustration you've been feeling lately, that's your soul knowing something doesn't fit, even if you can't name it yet. You've been walking around with a quiet knowing that everything you've been through must have meant something. And you're right, it did. Take a moment. Think of the version of you that went through all of that. They weren't unworthy or immature. They just hadn't yet grown into the strength their purpose required. But that version of you built the foundation you're standing on right now. You're standing at the threshold of understanding, expansion, and clarity. And the confusion that once haunted you is about to finally have a clear answer. So if you've been feeling like your life has been rewinding, stalling, or looping, pay attention. That's often how God sets the stage before He reveals the why. He slows things down right before He shows you what the delay built inside you. Something is about to click. The pain is about to reveal its purpose, and soon you'll look back at what once nearly destroyed you and say, "Oh, that's why." But we're not there yet, because before God shows you why it all had to happen, He's going to show you who you've become because of it. Dear chosen one, take a deep breath. You've been so focused on what broke that you haven't noticed what built. You walk differently now, slower, steadier, wiser. You hear words differently. You don't rush to react. You listen for truth. And you see differently, not with suspicion, but with discernment that comes from surviving things that were meant to confuse you. You're no longer the same soul who begged for explanations. You've grown into the one who can hold them. Remember those nights when you prayed for relief? Now you pray for understanding. That's transformation, not loud, but eternal. Because the person who once needed rescue now carries rescue inside them. You may not feel stronger all the time, but you absolutely are. That subtle calm you carry into chaos, that's power. That gentleness you show to people who once would have triggered you, that's mastery. And even fear is weaker in confrontation with you. It comes, but can't stay for long now. There's something sacred about endurance. It rewires how you trust. When everything you leaned on gave out and you still didn't collapse, you learned what it means to be anchored. You didn't just survive storms, you learned their language. You can now sense when the sky is about to turn, And instead of running for cover, you start preparing the ground. That's who you've become. Think about it. The same situations that used to tear you apart don't even shake you now. You respond with quiet wisdom instead of panic. That's not just how things came out. That's evidence of internal rebuilding. When God rebuilt you, He replaced sudden reaction with revelation. And that's why some people from your past can't recognize you anymore. They're searching for the old you who used to explain, defend, and overgive. But that version graduated. Even now, this new strength can feel strange for you. You'll notice yourself not chasing what once felt urgent. You'll stop trying to make sense of people who live in confusion. You'll realize silence doesn't mean weakness, even if people say it is. Silence means peace has become your boundary. God didn't just remove what was hurting you. He removed your need to be understood by it. And this is the part that's hard to admit. Sometimes healing makes you look colder. You're not colder at all. You're transparent now. Your energy no longer bleeds everywhere. It's contained, intentional, and guided. That's what the pain built, not bitterness, precision. Picture a sword being forged. Before it shines, it has to sit in the fire, again and again, until every weak part is burned out. And then the smith cools it, polishes it, and raises it to the light. That's you right now, being lifted to the light. Not to show off the flame that hurt you, but to reveal the strength that fire created. Chosen ones, your life is about to echo with purpose. Not because new things are appearing, but because old things are finally making sense. You'll start to see how every closed door lined up with another that opened later. You'll look back at the waiting and realize they weren't wasted time at all. They were pacing. God timed every turn, so your blessing would arrive to meet your maturity. You see, revelation isn't always thunder. Sometimes it's the quiet click of understanding. When the puzzle finally shows the picture, it's been forming all along. That's what's coming next. That's what heaven is preparing to show you. You'll look at your past, and instead of pain, you'll feel gratitude rising. Not because it was easy, but because you'll finally see how perfectly placed every difficulty was. That person who betrayed you, they redirected you. That job that ended, it freed your energy for what was meant for you. That long silence from heaven, it taught you how to hear the whispers. Every why will start turning into, oh, I see now. It won't happen in a single day. It'll unfold quietly, one realization at a time, and each one will feel like another piece of yourself coming home. And when it happens, you'll understand something sacred. God never left you in the middle of your confusion. He was there, arranging details too precise for you to notice at the time. Remember, my dear friend, you didn't miss anything. This is the season where He shows you the blueprint behind the chaos, where what once hurt you now helps you, and what once confused you now confirms you. Soon you'll start meeting people and entering spaces that feel oddly familiar, not because you've been there before, but because you were built for them during the quiet years. You'll realize you're standing in the very answer to prayers you forgot you prayed. Chosen ones, this is what it means when God says, I'll make it all make sense. He's not changing your story, He's revealing its architecture. And when you finally see it, you'll thank Him not just for the blessings, but for the construction, because that's when you'll know. Every ache, every waiting room, every unanswered night wasn't the end of your story. It was the scaffolding of something eternal. And now that the building stands, God is about to pull back the curtain and show you why it all had to happen. Thank you so much for taking this journey with me. If this message resonated, please like, share it with someone who might benefit, and subscribe to stay connected. Continue your awakening journey by choosing one of the videos on your screen that resonates with you the most. See you there. Hello and welcome, my dear friend. Let me say this plainly. Heaven did not just watch you survive, it just changed your rank. There has been a quiet decision made about you in the courts of heaven, not a suggestion, not a maybe, a decision, and this one is already leaving fingerprints on your everyday life. Even ordinary mornings feel less like recovery and more like readiness. You move through your day with a steadier center, like something in you finally knows where it stands. For a long time, heaven has been leaning in over your life, not waiting for you to fail, not keeping score like a harsh critic, watching, studying, taking in every small, costly yes. There were moments you didn't even think were spiritual. The night you could have exposed someone and stayed quiet instead. The morning you went to work with a heart still bruised from the day before and chose integrity anyway. Those were not throwaway moments. Those were examinations. If your life were a song, most people only ever heard the chorus, the bright, presentable parts. But heaven leaned close to the verses, the tremor in your voice, the breath between words, the soft, unfinished parts. That's where your real music lives. What caught heaven's attention wasn't a role you played. It was the way you let pain sculpt your compassion instead of hardening it. You didn't become cynical after betrayal. You didn't weaponize truth after learning how sharp it can cut. You learned to let gentleness stand its ground, and that made heaven pause. That is what shifted your rank. Because spiritual authority isn't given to those who shout the loudest. It's entrusted to the ones who stayed honest when pretense would have been easier. Promotion in the spirit is not a trophy. It's acknowledgement of endurance. Heaven looked at you and said, "They've proven they can carry more without losing their core." You thought you were just holding on. Heaven saw a leader being born. Think back over the last season. How you prayed through doubt and discipline, not just devotion. How you forgave people who never even noticed the forgiveness. How you chose to rebuild your peace one quiet morning at a time. Those weren't gestures of weakness. They were signs of governance, proof that your spirit could rule what once ruled you. Heaven doesn't ignore that kind of proof. There comes a moment in every army when a soldier is called into a silent room. No applause, no witnesses, only a superior sliding a new insignia across the table and saying, "From this moment your authority changes. That's what just happened to you." In the spirit, you were summoned forward. Angels stood back. Your history stood behind you. And God reviewed every detail, the tears, the restraint, the unwavering sincerity, and said, "Now they're ready." Nothing about that moment was theoretical. Something literal was placed on your life. And since then, you've felt it, even if you couldn't name it. You walk through familiar spaces and notice that what used to exhaust you doesn't get as far as it used to. You answer messages differently, with calm instead of panic. You notice when peace leaves a room, and somehow, without forcing anything, it finds its way back when you speak. That's not ego, that's elevation. Chosen ones, this is what a real spiritual promotion feels like before it looks like anything. It's the quiet confidence to make slower choices. It's hearing gossip and feeling no desire to join in. It's realizing you no longer need to explain your calling to be understood. It's finding rest in places where you used to feel constantly on edge. Your presence now carries a kind of steadiness that can't be rehearsed. You've become the safe place you once looked for. That's why heaven moved your rank upward, because while others built platforms, you built character. While others gathered followers, you gathered wisdom. While others performed faith, you lived it, unseen, but recorded in full. If you pay attention, you'll see life around you starting to match what God has already known about you for a long time. You're not imagining it if your decisions feel clearer. You're not being proud if your voice feels calmer. That's what it means to stand where heaven has already seated you. Right now, your name has been moved on a board you can't see. Some parts of life may actually feel more demanding now, right alongside the new ease, the new openings, the strange good things beginning to find you, and in the silence that follows, heaven breathes in. The sound before your new name is spoken out loud. When God calls you by a new name, it doesn't always sound like words. It sounds like life starting to treat you differently. Some of it will feel beautiful. Some of it will feel heavier. Both are signs your rank has changed, because when heaven trusts you with more, it doesn't just send comfort. it also sends assignment. You might notice this first with people. Someone who never took you seriously suddenly listens when you speak. Someone who used to joke at your expense can't seem to do it anymore. Not because you threatened them, but because something in you no longer agrees to being the easy target. This will push some people away simply because they can't steer the conversation anymore. That's spiritual authority in real life. Not lightning in the sky, just clear boundaries that don't shake when someone pushes against them. But let's be honest, some people will feel uncomfortable around this version of you. The ones who preferred you uncertain, apologetic, always second-guessing yourself. They might say you're not who you used to be. They might call you cold or distant, when really you just stopped shrinking to make everyone else relaxed. Chosen ones, your new rank will show up in 3 main places. In what you allow. You'll feel a quiet refusal rise up when something isn't right for you. Old habits, old dynamics, old roles you used to play, they just won't fit anymore. In who comes to you. Strangers will open up quickly. Family members will bring you their real worries instead of the edited version. People will say, "I feel safe talking to you," and they won't always know why. In how you hear God. You'll notice more clarity, not a constant stream of answers, but a steady sense of this way, not that way. Stay here, don't go there. It's not drama, it's guidance. Promotion doesn't mean every day becomes light and easy. Sometimes it means the conversations you're part of are more serious. The choices you make affect more people. Your words cut deeper in both good and bad ways. That's why heaven waited to trust you with this. God watched how you handled pain when no one was looking. Now he's watching how you handle influence. You're not allowed to use your story to crush others. You're not allowed to use your new confidence to make anyone feel small. That's the weight of this rank. You carry more, so what you do with it matters more. You'll also notice this shift inside your own thoughts. Before, you might have spent hours replaying what people said, wondering if you did something wrong, trying to fix their view of you in your mind. Now, you'll catch yourself saying, "I know who I am. God knows who I am. That's enough." And then you move on. That isn't arrogance. That's finally stepping into the identity heaven's been holding for you all along. There will be moments when you look at your life and think, why does this feel so serious all of a sudden? It's because more is being trusted to you. You might be the one in the room who sees clearly what everyone else is avoiding. You might be the only person in the group who isn't comfortable pretending. You might feel like the anchor now, the one who keeps things from tipping into chaos. It's not by accident. You've been trained for this without even knowing it. Every time you chose truth over image, every time you sat with discomfort instead of escaping it, every time you walked away from drama instead of feeding it, you were building the strength you're using right now. You may also notice something else. You're less impressed by noise. Loud confidence doesn't move you like before. You listen for consistency now. You watch how people treat others when there's nothing to gain. That's how God looks at people. And the more your thinking mirrors His, the more authority you carry without even trying. My dear friend, these aren't random chances. They're assignments that finally match who you've become. Don't talk yourself out of them. Don't shrink back, because the old you feels underqualified. The old you didn't get this invitation. The current you did. You're going to have to practice something new now. Walking like someone who has already been chosen, instead of asking to be picked. That means you stop chasing rooms that don't respect you. You stop explaining basic kindness to people who enjoy misunderstanding it. You stop wasting energy trying to prove you've changed to those who are committed to your old story. Dear chosen one, you don't need to perform your new rank. You just need to live like someone God trusts. Because that's what this whole shift is about. Trust. He trusted you with pain, and you didn't waste it. Now He's trusting you with honor, and He's expecting you not to waste that either. So, when you feel the weight of this change, the new responsibility, the new clarity, the new eyes watching you, remember this. You are not standing here by accident. You were watched. You were measured. You were found faithful, and heaven's decision has already been made. Your rank changed. Now, your life will, too. Thank you so much for taking this journey with me. If this message resonated, please like, share it with someone who might benefit, and subscribe to stay connected. Continue your awakening journey by choosing one of the videos on your screen that resonates with you the most. See you there. Hello and welcome, my dear friend. Some messages find you exactly when your spirit is between chapters. Not lost, not early, just right on time. This is one of them. Dear chosen one, God is about to repay you in ways you can actually count, not in vague promises or distant blessings, in real, visible changes, in timing that suddenly works, in peace that finally holds, in outcomes that make sense after years of confusion. You've walked through a long stretch of giving, trusting, and holding it together, and heaven has kept a detailed record of it all. Let's be honest, you've carried responsibilities that weren't yours. You gave help that was mistaken for obligation. You held space for people who only remembered you when they needed somewhere safe to land. You weren't just faithful, you were steady in the dark, holding on to your peace like currency in a storm. While others performed consistency, you lived it. You built character in the quiet, without cheating, without validation, without shortcuts. And those choices didn't vanish. They matured in silence, like seeds beneath thick soil, waiting for the right season. That season is now shifting. If this already settles somewhere deep in you, take a second and like or share this so it reaches whoever else has been carrying quiet faith too long. See, God doesn't keep score the way people do, but He does close books, and yours is balancing. You'll notice something different now, not in what's coming, but in what no longer clings. The old attachments don't grip as hard. The memories that used to replay have gone quiet, like they finally got the message. You stop rehearsing conversations that will never happen, and somehow that silence feels like peace, not loss. That's the miracle no one talks about. How letting go begins to magnetize everything that truly belongs. The moment you stopped chasing, alignment started chasing you. The moment you forgave, space opened for something lighter to take residence. Even your body can feel it, breathing deeper, sleeping longer, holding less tension in the jaw, in the heart, in the waiting. You're not carrying everyone else's story anymore, so there's finally room for your own. And that's when life begins to move differently, not faster but smoother, not louder but clearer. Because once you stop dragging what's finished, you make space for what's written. For years, you poured from a cup that never seemed to refill. Now that same cup is about to overflow, not because of a miracle that appears out of nowhere, but because the balance of divine math always returns to even. Every time you helped someone and they disappeared, every kindness that cost you rest, every prayer that felt unanswered, they were all deposits. You just didn't see the receipts yet. But you and I both know the delay between letting go and receiving can feel endless. Those in-between seasons stretch time until you start doubting whether anything is moving at all. But divine timing doesn't run on seconds or calendars. It moves by readiness. And when you stop questioning it every hour, it unfolds quietly, in ways that answer every question you once shouted into the dark. But the season of invisible credit is ending. What you gave in love is coming back in clarity. What you lost in confusion is coming back as direction. And what you did in faith is coming back as form, something you can hold, use, and count. When it comes, you'll know it's divine because of how right it feels, not rushed, not loud, not performative, just aligned. And when it comes, meet it with steady hands. Don't question it. Receive it the way you once carried pain, quietly, with grace, knowing this was always part of the agreement. God isn't rewarding perfection. He's settling the account of endurance. He's answering the nights where you wanted to stop trying but didn't. He's balancing what life tried to shortchange. So start paying attention, because the shifts won't scream, they'll click. Not everything will make noise when it arrives. Some things will simply fit, and when they do, you'll realize something powerful. You were never waiting for a miracle. You were waiting for the world to catch up to what God already decided was yours. And now it begins. The season where everything that once felt taken starts finding its way back home. If you listen closely, you can already hear the quiet shift inside you, the way your spirit no longer bargains for crumbs it never deserved. Something in you remembers the original agreement. You were not designed to beg your own life to include you. You always carried that knowing, even in thin years. Even when your hands were empty, your heart was still certain. That certainty wasn't arrogance, it was memory. Before the world taught you how to survive by shrinking, God authored a way for you to be sustained by being fully yourself. Not the edited version, not the pleasing version, the real one, the one that chose the narrow road and stayed. This part isn't loud. It doesn't need confetti. It feels like recognition arriving without an announcement, like walking into a room and realizing the light is already set to your skin. No grand reveal, just a steady yes that fits. See, you didn't get here by playing the game better than everyone else. You got here by refusing to become someone your soul couldn't sleep with. You walked away from platforms that wanted your talent, but not your truth. You stayed poor in ego and rich in alignment. You let quiet build what noise kept interrupting. That's why nothing about this feels sudden. It feels earned, not by performance, but by becoming. Call it what you want: repayment, return, reconciliation. I'll call it this: heaven funding what it formed. Not a wage for a show, an endorsement of a life. And when heaven funds something, the currency is strange to people who worship applause. It looks like favor in ordinary places, position that doesn't require costume, ease where there used to be friction, not spectacle, stability, not hype, weight. They may try to reverse engineer your steps. What trick? Which sponsor? Which blueprint? There isn't one. Dear chosen one, some things don't come from method. They come from maintenance. You maintained your center when it was cheaper to drift. You guarded your kindness when anger wanted the microphone. You kept your voice honest when performance could have paid faster. Now the atmosphere simply tells the truth about you. Remember the nights you thought you'd missed it? You hadn't. You were being built in a way that wouldn't collapse later, like certain stars that don't appear on command, not because they aren't shining, but because only the right conditions reveal them. You weren't invisible. You were waiting for the air to catch up to your frequency. And now that it has, the glow is unmistakable. While some mistook your stillness for delay, a foundation was being poured, thick enough to carry what your name was always meant to hold. You learned how to breathe without begging, how to show up without pretending, how to move without needing permission to be real. Now you are being paid to exist as that person, not the polished costume, the aligned core. This isn't the kind of wealth that trades your soul for a number. This is wealth that feels like breathing instead of bargaining. It whispers, "You're safe now," because you stopped selling yourself to buy a seat. If it feels strange at first, ease where tension used to live, let it feel strange. You've trained for storms. Calm is going to feel like new weather. Give it time. Watch how peace starts speaking for you. How rest carries a quiet authority. How your life begins to say what your mouth doesn't need to argue anymore. And the beauty in all of this is, you didn't skip steps. You stayed planted. You watched others sprint while your soul held still. You gave up chasing validation, and God wrote your name into an inheritance no algorithm could block. That's why this doesn't look like finally getting in. It looks like coming home. And you don't owe the past a reenactment to prove you're grateful. You don't owe a speech to people committed to misunderstanding your silence. What's real will recognize you. What needed you smaller won't know what to do with you now. And that's not your emergency. There will be people who ask for the secret. You won't have a 5-point plan. You'll have a sentence. I stayed. When it was quiet, when it was costly, when it was tempting to turn myself into something easier to consume. I stayed with what was true. That's wealth too, being able to tell the truth about your path without decorating it. If you need proof that this shift is happening, look where anxiety used to live and see how often it goes unfed now. Notice how your yes means yes without a second voice bargaining behind it. Notice how you don't audition for rooms that never learned your language. Notice how relief shows up first thing in the morning instead of waiting for a weekend to deserve it. These aren't promises of later, they're signatures of now. And if part of you still waits for the other shoe to drop, bless that part. It survived a lot. Then remind it gently, this isn't a trick. This is what happens when a life stops leaking, when attention returns to what it was assigned, when love stops being currency and becomes nature again. My dear friend, what's ahead won't require you to become grand, just grounded. It won't ask you to be impressive, just honest. It won't demand a bigger mask, just a stronger root. You've been trusted with other people's pain. Now you're being trusted with joy. You've been assigned to broken places. Now you'll be invited into beautiful ones. Not to escape what made you, but to prove that healing doesn't erase the past. It changes its power. So stand how this season asks you to stand, quiet, tall, unhurried. Let the glow be the explanation. Let the peace be the receipt. Let your ordinary day be the miracle. Food in the house, breath in the chest, work that fits your hands, a spirit that doesn't flinch at its own reflection. You were not born to chase scraps. You were born to host abundance without losing yourself, to be positioned without being possessed, to be seen without becoming a spectacle. This isn't the era of trying. This is the era of being resourced for who you really are. Not because you finally learned the trick, but because you refuse to trade your soul for a shortcut. Live it. Not louder, truer, not bigger, deeper, not someday, now. And if anyone asks what changed, you can smile and say, nothing loud, just everything real. Before you go, if you'd like to sit in this same peace a little longer, I've created a place for that. My second channel, Simplified Serenity. It's filled with worship instrumentals made for prayer, meditation, and stillness. A quiet space for your heart to breathe, rest, and connect with God. Just tap on the playlist on your screen. I'd love to see you there. Hello and welcome, my dear friend. This message found you now because heaven has been watching the quiet war you've been fighting, the one no one else could even imagine. Dear chosen ones, you've already done what most people never have the strength to do. You kept going with bruises on your soul, without knowing how it would end. You carried your faith through exhaustion, through silence that seemed like emptiness, through moments where even prayer felt heavy. And tonight, heaven whispers a sentence that changes everything. You did it. Now let me do the rest. You see, there's a point where human effort can't take you further. You can push, you can plan, you can prepare, but the door you're walking through next doesn't open with effort. It opens with surrender. God's not asking you to stop caring. He's asking you to stop carrying what's already been lifted in the spirit. There's a difference. When you look back, every hard thing you survived was to shape you to complete your part of the journey. Each long stretch of waiting was a hidden handshake between heaven and your destiny. And the reason it felt impossible wasn't because you were weak, it's because you were crossing out of what could be done by your own hands. Now the divine exchange begins. Think about it. Seeds never break the surface while they're still trying to protect their shell. Something has to crack, not as punishment, but as permission for growth. That's what just happened inside you. All those nights when you said, God, I can't do this anymore. He didn't hear failure in your words. He heard readiness for change. The moment your strength ran out, heaven's strategy took over. Many times in life, we realize that something once seemed bad until we discovered its value, and that many things which look good at first glance could have ruined everything. So this tiredness may feel like weakness or unworthiness, but in truth, it's a good thing. Because this is when you stop trying to control every aspect of life. You do what you can and let heaven do the rest. And one thing we both know is He does it beautifully. in a way no human could ever imagine. You were never meant to finish this alone. You were meant to reach the edge of your ability so that God could show what His grace really looks like in motion. And before we go further, I just want to say thank you for every like, comment, share, and generous super thanks. You're helping these messages reach the souls that need them most, and it's more valuable than you know. See, the hardest part wasn't the pain. It was holding faith while everything looked faithless. It was loving people who misunderstood you. It was walking through endings that felt unfair, trusting that they were still divine. That was the test, not of obedience, but of trust. You've proven your heart could stay open in a world that taught you to close it. You've proven you could be gentle and powerful at the same time, and heaven hasn't looked away for a second. He saw it all. Now, God begins to rearrange the pieces you thought were lost forever. He's already working in rooms you'll soon walk into. He's shifting hearts in conversations you haven't heard yet. He's preparing blessings that will fit exactly where you once broke. Because the same places that hurt you will soon honor you, not as revenge, but as redemption. You may feel tired, but that's because the battle was long. The fatigue you feel is proof that you stayed until the miracle had no choice but to find you. So let your shoulders drop. You don't need to look for what's next. It's already on its way to you. Your only task now is to continue being this wonderful, aligned and worthy person you are today. You've felt it, haven't you? The moment you stopped forcing, you aligned with flow. The moment you stopped begging, you aligned with belief. And that's where God works best. Not through chaos, but through calm conviction. Remember this, you didn't lose time. You built foundation. And soon, when you feel the shift in your bones, it'll be the visible result of everything God's been preparing quietly while you were being faithful loudly. You've already done the hardest part, believing when there was almost no evidence, walking forward on tired legs, forgiving with a broken heart. Now it's time heaven takes over. And when it happens, it rarely looks dramatic at first. It begins quietly, in the same streets you've walked for years, with the same people, the same routines, but suddenly the air feels different. The weight you carried no longer clings to you the same way. You wake up, and for the first time in a long time, your spirit isn't asking how. It's whispering when. That's how divine timing feels, not like a thunderclap, but like calm certainty settling in your bones. You start to notice little things. A message that finds you at the exact moment you need it. A person who mentions something you were just praying about. A sudden peace where anxiety used to live. Those aren't coincidences, those are markers of heaven in motion. Dear chosen one, this is what happens when the divine takes over your story. God starts touching the things you thought were untouchable. He softens hearts that seemed stone. He reopens paths you had already grieved. He sends favor ahead of you. Because what's meant for you doesn't need convincing. It only needs your readiness. And you are so ready now. You've been trained by waiting, strengthened by disappointment, and purified by faith that didn't make sense on paper. Every no prepared you for this yes. Every closed door shaped the humility needed to walk through the right one with grace. You see, when you were asking for speed, God was building stamina. When you were asking for clarity, He was sharpening your discernment. And when you were asking for breakthrough, He was cultivating the strength to hold it once it came. That's what makes this season sacred. You're not being rescued, you're being revealed. Heaven doesn't just fix things for the chosen ones, it unveils what's already been built in private. All the times you wondered, was it worth it? You're about to see why it was, because what's coming next doesn't require you to prove yourself. It only asks you to remain who you've become. You don't need to explain anything to anyone anymore. You don't need to defend your stillness. The same calm that once made people question you will soon make them come to you for guidance. There's something magnetic about someone who trusts divine timing, because people can feel when you're no longer running after this and that, when you've surrendered to something larger than strategy or luck. That's when heaven's current starts to carry you. And here's what's beautiful. When heaven carries you, effort doesn't vanish, but it finally works. The same energy that once met resistance now finds results. Even your timing feels precise, almost supernatural. God is not just changing your circumstances, He's changing your access. He's elevating your frequency so you no longer reach for things below your spiritual rank. That's why some connections feel dull now. That's why familiar spaces feel foreign. You've outgrown them, not out of pride, but out of purpose. You were never meant to be like anyone else. You were meant to lead quietly, not through loud announcements, but through peaceful authority that others can feel without explanation. That's what makes the chosen ones different. They glow differently when God moves. You'll start to see signs everywhere. The heaviness will lift mid-sentence. People from the past will resurface, not to stay, but to witness your evolution. Even your reflection will look steadier, as if your eyes finally understand what your soul has known all along. That's the divine shift. It's not an event, it's a realization. Sometimes heaven rewards you not by giving you new things, but by giving you new sight. You start to see that nothing was wasted. Every tear was irrigation for the field you're about to harvest. Every lonely season was soil for wisdom. And now that wisdom is what calls in your next blessings. So when things begin to move quickly, don't panic. You've been prepared for this. You're not being thrown into chaos, although it may look like it. You're being promoted into an upgraded way of living. When opportunities arrive, you'll know which ones are divine because they won't drain you. They'll expand you. Peace will confirm what logic can't. And when you look back, you'll realize that everything started to accelerate the moment you stopped trying to make sense of it. That's the paradox of faith. The less you force, the more it flows. The less you chase, the more it finds you. And the less you speak, the louder your spirit becomes. Dear chosen ones, while heaven is orchestrating what's next, you may not see the details, but you'll feel the momentum. The people meant for you will feel it too, drawn not to your image, but to your essence. Because when God takes over, even your energy becomes a sermon. Your calm becomes confirmation, your peace becomes prophecy, and your existence becomes proof that endurance is never ignored by heaven. The blessings already have your name on them. The tables are being set. The right eyes are about to see you, and the world will soon understand what heaven has known all along, that you were never forgotten, you were being prepared. And this time, you won't have to fight for it. It'll come naturally, effortlessly, divinely. Because now, dear chosen one, God takes over, and nothing will ever be the same again. Before you go, if you'd like to sit in this same peace a little longer, I've created a place for that. My second channel, Simplified Serenity. It's filled with worship instrumentals made for prayer, meditation, and stillness. A quiet space for your heart to breathe, rest, and connect with God. Just tap on the playlist on your screen. I'd love to see you there.